We're not sure why it took so long, and many had another Johnson and Cam behind Keldon, but now the Kentucky scorer, last year's freshman of the year, Andy, third on their team in scoring at 13.5 a game, going to the San Antonio Spurs.
Well, first of all, we brought this up before. I think this is a great fit for him, even though he may be very disappointed that he slid all the way down to 29. You're going to an established franchise where, everything is basically on, not cruise control, but it's a machine. They know they have their own direction that they're going to go on, and he can go in there without dealing with a lot of pressure, Brandon, to where he can just sort of develop and become a contributor with that team.
I agree with you, Andy. Listen, Keldon Johnson's probably very disappointed that he didn't go higher up and higher, especially in the lottery, because that's where he was projected to go. But the fact that he fell to a great organization like the Spurs, I think that he'll realize quickly in his career might be the best thing for him. He gets to go to a very stable organization that's going to consistently put him in the right position to succeed. He's going to get great coaching. The staff is excellent. We already know about the Spurs wearing Coach Greg Popovich. He did slide, and it was probably a lot of uncomfortable feelings and jitters in that draft.
See how just relieved he looks.
That's a feeling of relief right there. I've been there. And so once you get that feeling of relief, now you start looking at the fit, and this is the excellent fit for him. I don't think, if he was going to slide, I don't think he could have slid to a better situation.
Brendan, this kid has fell into a gold mine for himself.
Yep.
He's a pretty good three-point shooter. He will get better in the Spurs system. He can defend. He has a high motor. He will learn how to play the right way. Not saying he didn't. I think this is fantastic. The Spurs has done it again. They find some talent at this pick. He could end up playing on a team that will be in the playoffs next year.
When you think about big games, even as a freshman, at 21 in their win over UNC, at 19 in their win over Tennessee, he had some big games. When you look at Cal's teams, and Andy, you know his groups as well as anybody, we think of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who a lot of people couldn't figure out, had the one good game in the tournament. What is he? I go back to Devin Booker behind the Harrison twins. How much more difficult is it to figure out what a guy like Keldon is when there are so many different pieces they're trying to work in and get the basketball?
Well, look, he has been in a situation in Kentucky where he had to fit in, and now you have to fit in. But think about it, going from John Calipari to Greg Popovich,
right.
Two very demanding coaches, okay? So that's not going to be a big change for him, going from one demanding to another. And I think this year at Kentucky will have benefited him playing for Greg Popovich at San Antonio.
Listen, if you can play for Cal, you can play for Greg Popovich. Both of them, you're right, do have the same type of demanding style. At Kentucky, he did have to fit in because you had P.J. Washington there. You had Tyler Hero there. He didn't just get to come in and take any shot he wanted to. He had to fit into a total team scheme. And that's what you're going to do when you're a Spur. You're going to fit into a team scheme. There's going to be certain shots they want you to take, certain shots they don't want you to take until you're ready for those shots. And if you listen to the Spurs organization and their coaching staff, you will develop into a very good player.
High motor. That's what I love about him. He has a high motor.
And don't forget, maybe the most untalked about, unkept Lonnie Walker last year. You're going to see a lot of him for the Spurs. We all love him at this desk. You know what else we
Murray
love?
as well.
The story about Bol, except for this story, that he's still here. The green room at 24. He's still remaining. Will his name be next before the first round is out? We'll close out round one. We come back. We are just about ready to close out round number one, a round that's seen a number of records, including only the fifth time we've ever seen two of the top three picks come from the same school in the same year. It included AD and MKG and Okafor and Ben Gordon in that other group of four. And now you can add Zion at 1 and RJ Barrett coming to the Knicks at 3 into that group. Casey Stern, Smitty, Andy Katz, B. Wood, Tom Penn. We're still here. No pee breaks. Just keeping everybody busy. We're getting into round number 2.
I think me and Tom definitely need one.
Well, no one could see the legs going under the table. Watch out for the Louis Vuitton bag. The Cavaliers have been active, Tom, trying to get more picks in this draft, to get bodies. And even though there's always going to be a question, we discussed it earlier, where John Beilein fits, they go ahead and they get a big-time question mark in Porter.
Yeah.
Now, at a USC, before we break down the player, how much more difficult is it to understand when you've got a new coach in this system bringing in a guy with question marks off the court, if you will, in Porter?
Look, This is a developmental coach. That's why they hired him. They know they're into a long build and trying to establish their culture. So you've seen this variety of young talent that they've taken. And Porter Jr. is different than the others, right? More upside.
Could be better.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
he's a player that certainly was projected to go higher. He is a scorer, which now he can be a scorer, I should say. Obviously, was not a big-time scorer for USC this past season. It's a very disappointing season, by the way, for the Trojans. Benny Boatwright was supposed to be a star for them, and they were supposed to be a tournament team. It didn't happen. But when we look at the Cavaliers' first-round picks, what do you see right there? You see a lot of offense for John Beilein. You see a playmaking point guard, a shooter in Windler, and then a slasher, if you will, if you want to call him that, in Porter. So that does sort of fit a Beilein mentality.
No, it is, Andy. And you go back and you talk about those guys as slashing and also a point guard, but there's still guys, like you said, that shoot. Garland can shoot it, Windler can shoot it, and Kevin Porter Jr. shot 41% from three, so all of them can shoot. But there's a theme for the Beilein being able to draft in this year's draft.
Yeah, a lot of versatility, and Porter, somebody, like you said, there were some questions about him off the court. Was suspended this year, but Smitty, you alluded to, he shot 41% from three. He wasn't a high-volume three-point shooter or even score only 9 points per game, but the talent is there, the upside is there. Everybody you talk to says high talent but high question marks. So it's going to be very important that the Cleveland Cavaliers make sure they have the right type of things in place to make sure that this kid gets what he needs on, but more importantly, off the court as well, because he has to understand that the off-the-court stuff has to be taken care of so he can shine on the court.
He also missed some games because of injury, 10 games. So,
and that contributed to their season.
It did.
By the way, Jordan Bell just tweeting, y'all are sleeping on Bobo, and I agree with him. He's still in the green room behind us. He's a player that I thought should have gone in the first round. Had he not gotten hurt, there's no question he would have been in the first round. He's got unbelievable talent for his size, the way he can shoot threes. Remember, he was averaging over 20 points a game before he got hurt.
Yeah, I don't think it's a question of his talent. You're right, Andy. I think it's all about, right now, his question mark of how he comes back from this injury.
Yeah, question marks of the injury and also the fit. Like, what is he? I know he spends a lot of time on the perimeter, but does he have the foot speed to be out there? Doesn't really quite have the strength to be a big. I believe he has upside, and hope somebody's going to get very lucky when they take him.
Let's reset as we kind of begin round two, because we've seen obviously a big night for the Hawks, and we'll discuss this when we get to kind of winners and losers at the end. New Orleans and what David Griffin has done. We've seen some darts thrown at the board from Phoenix and Cleveland. Obviously, we know about the front end with the Duke kids, but now we get to the next group. When you look at mock drafts, as many as would you have to do 100 of them, I'm sure? We saw a lot of changes, but here's who's fallen. Bol, got Bruno Fernando, got Claxton out of Georgia, you've got KZ Okpala, Horton Tucker, Carson Edwards, and my favorite, Luguentz Dort, who I'm pretty sure could be like Juggernaut and X-Men and just walk himself through a door. How about some of those names? Who stands out to you guys as maybe that next best player on the board?
I really like Carson Edwards, and just the fact that he's a shot maker, he has the ball in his hands, and it's all about playing in the pick and roll. He's somebody that can come off the pick and roll and really light it up and shoot it. And then he's also been able to hit big shots in big moments. He's never going to be scared of the moment. So I think whether he's starting somewhere or whether if you just bring him off the bench, he's always going to have the same confidence, the same energy.
All right, you want a guarantee?
Yes.
I'm going to guarantee that Carson Edwards gets a guaranteed deal in the second round.
All right.
Okay, I like that.
All right. I can see it. And you said that with your chest poked out, too.
I know.
You must have got some inside information.
No, I'm just, no, this is all me.
Let me see what's going on your phone over there. Somebody just text you that.
Let me see what's
He
going on.
could be shooting nearby, perhaps. The Knicks are a team that might take a look. We'll come back, get you through the second round, begin to talk about what it all means moving forward as we head to free agency. Our draft coverage rolls on from Barclays.